What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. The delusional girl and the marrying man, the brave and the lovely, a pair of scoops for the week. Since that's what Ridge Forrester from the Bold and the Beautiful is now, should we simply call him Commercial Break Ridge? During the commercial break, he prepared a ring for Brooke and dumped Taylor. After watching soap operas for more than 45 years, we're not sure whether we've ever seen anything like that. Let's get started. What kind of world were you in, Taylor? We no longer have to watch Taylor swoon over Ridge and nervously inform him that she is at last at ease and sure about their relationship, which is the one upside to Ridge's incredibly casual dump of Taylor. The passive reminders from Brooke's sisters that Taylor would eventually become obsolete are no longer necessary. Additionally, we no longer have to watch Eric, the high school sidekick who is attempting to reconnect his son with their shared ex-wife and baby mom, run along the Italian shore in a ski jacket in August. No more Taylor pleading with Ridge to arrange a date or denying that he would never be able to meet her face to face. Ridge only slept with you this year because he got into a fight with Brooke just before the commercial break, so stop trying to ignore that. But what we do receive is, "Calm down, Thomas." Yes, exactly. We hear Thomas grumbling and whining, and we're not entirely sure why he's turned back into the person who wants nothing more than to see his parents together. Is he merely there to pretend to be Steffi while she enjoys her yearly vacation? When we last saw Thomas, he had come to terms with Brooke and Ridge's relationship and even forged a semblance of a ceasefire with her once she realized how much Thomas had changed and how happy he made Hope. We don't like that he feels menacing now, though. After Thomas has only complained about Brooke in the 2 weeks after his return, we are also unsure of why his whole history with Hope, both the good and the bad, feels as though it has been wiped. In fact, it's somewhat odd that he hasn't even seen Hope yet. Is Hope even curious about the whereabouts of her son? Does she remember having a son at all? What about Ridge, too? Are you serious, Ridge? Before we could have another afternoon snack, did you really just give Taylor another case of broken heart syndrome, then march into Dad's office and marry a tearful Brooke? Although we are aware that it didn't actually occur, it certainly did. Ridge and Brooke have remarried. At this time, we believe they are up to a baker's dozen in terms of holy matrimony, but who's counting when it's fate? After splitting from Taylor, Ridge didn't just pop the question to Brooke during a commercial break. After splitting from Taylor, he married Brooke 2 commercial breaks later, but how? The marriage license was missing. We are aware that Carter was always the officiator and never the groom, but they required more than that to complete the task. They had to get ready. Something. In addition, does anyone believe Carter will become a successful groom in the near future? No, haha. Let's not hold back. Delusional girl, or perhaps delusional soap, comes next. Therefore, we still don't know Lee's exact residence. Is that a motel room? Not even a kitchenette in a one-room apartment? And how is it possible for Remy to live in a building on the same level as a prosperous physician? And why does a prosperous physician reside in such a little space? All of that is irrelevant, though it is undoubtedly something to consider. Will knocked on random doors to find out who was stalking him after Liam used some computer voodoo to find Luna. Being crazy as usual, Luna reasoned that everything would be okay in her world if she told Will who she was. But from the beginning, at least in our opinion, everything went wrong. Before Will discovered Luna, she had recently gotten another negative pregnancy test. We assumed Luna was going to complete what she had begun and attempt to conceive again as he collapsed back into the bed as soon as he spotted her. We almost lost it when Will accused Luna of sexually abusing him just 2 minutes later. Because it didn't happen that way. Will was not exploited by her. He was raped by her. She tricked an inebriated man into thinking she was someone else while physically assaulting him, preventing him from making his own judgments or giving his consent. Luna is not humorous or cute. She is a sexual predator. She thought it was humorous that she let Zend think he had taken advantage of her last year. The Bold and the Beautiful may decide to discontinue this character. That give her did, as that may be the only thing that can save her at this stage. Luna has already been given 2 chances to be reset by the program, but each time it chose to make her worse. A couple of scoops for the week: the marrying man and the delusional girl. One thing is certain: if you've followed the Bold and the Beautiful long enough, Ridge Forrester never really changes. Depending on the plot, he might waffle more or less, but fundamentally, he is the man getting married. The man who needs a lady at his side to survive. And in the most recent chapter of this multi-decade tale, Ridge has once again solidified that reputation by dismissing Taylor Hayes during what seemed like a commercial break, only to remarry Brooke Logan as if waiting periods and marriage licenses were unreal. Because he accomplished the impossible proposal, dump, marriage, and heartbreak in what seemed like a snack break between advertisements, fans have christened him Commercial Break Ridge. Another plotline is developing on the side, one that involves Luna Nozawa, the current insane girl, whose every action is dripping with trauma, deception, and reckless fantasy, even if that crazy narrative twist has left viewers in shock. A soap opera mix that is both nasty and addictive results from combining Ridge's obsessive drive to get married with Luna's decline into predatory behavior. The first half of this double scoop will focus on Ridge and the women who surround him. At least in her own eyes, Taylor has been the woman of stability, reason, and optimism for decades. She had always thought that Ridge would realize she was the right woman, the reliable one, and the one who would never deceive him the way Brooke has repeatedly done if he could only see her clearly. Nevertheless, Ridge has often turned away from Taylor and entered Brooke's embrace. Taylor ought to have the cycle permanently inked on her heart by now because it is so recognizable. Taylor continues to fool herself into believing that this time will be different in spite of everything. At last, she has that Ridge. That Brooke is no longer as strong. That destiny has changed to her advantage. In the world of soap operas, however, fate has a nasty sense of humor. It was more than simply a rejection when Ridge proposed to Brooke just minutes after ending his relationship with Taylor. It was a disgrace. Taylor's brittle heart broke once more, and all of her self-assurances that this time is different vanished into thin air. And the icing on the cake? Ridge's father, Eric Forrester, has been actively supporting Brooke the entire time and encouraging his son to return to his real destiny. Taylor finds the treachery to be nearly as painful as Ridge's desertion since it serves as a reminder that, even in the Forrester family, she has always been a guest, welcome but never necessary. The one knitted into the fabric of the family is Brooke. When things get difficult, they turn to Brooke. Eric, the patriarch, thinks that Brooke is Ridge's only genuine love. Additionally, Taylor's son Thomas has abruptly returned to his compulsive behaviors. For a minute, Thomas appeared to have recovered. He seems prepared to put his past deceitful relationship with Hope and his grudge toward Brooke behind him. However, that Thomas has vanished. He is replaced by a man who is once more committed to getting his parents back together, as if his identity is solely defined by his fixation with their love tale. Furious at his father, angry at Brooke, and angry at anyone who tries to inform him that the marriage is real, the vows are exchanged, and his parents' hope for reconciliation has been buried beneath yet another Logan diamond ring, he marches inside Forrester Creations. It is almost comical, but it isn't because Thomas has once again become threatening, the kind of man who makes everyone in the room uneasy, because of his blind devotion to Taylor. Brooke senses it. Ridge senses it. Eric senses it too. And it all comes back to that one question that never goes away. Why is Thomas always the family's powder keg, ready to blow up whenever Brooke and Ridge kiss? Ridge silences him nonetheless. Ridge instructs Thomas to quit blaming Brooke with the steely resolve of a man who has already made up his mind. Ridge maintains that if Thomas wants someone to target with his rage, it should be him. He decided. He made a proposal. Brooke was his wife. And now he will do everything in his power to protect her. Naturally, though, Thomas finds this unacceptable. He is unable to let go. He keeps thinking about if-only scenarios. What if Brooke hadn't been present? What if Ridge had made a different decision, or if Taylor had gotten what she deserved? Thomas is always caught up in that loop of denial, and Brooke, who recently got married again, is already sensing the storm clouds building over her honeymoon horizon. Let's move on to the second scoop, the other storm in the making, Luna Nozawa, the naive young woman who has turned into the most sinister figure on the canvas. It was obvious that Luna had not found atonement when she first emerged alive. She went back to spiral further. Luna is at the heart of one of the show's worst plotlines, having already been charged with posing as Elektra and tricking Will Spencer into an intoxicated sexual encounter. It is evident how devastated Will is. Katie's anger is explosive. Bill's need for vengeance is consuming him. Nevertheless, Luna persists in her distorted reality, believing that none of this is her fault. Where she will be forgiven if she only explains herself sufficiently, sobs sufficiently, and persuades the appropriate person. However, Luna is a predator here, not a victim. She pretended to be someone else in order to deceive an inebriated man into doing something he never agreed to. That is, as Katie correctly notes, rape. For a period. No gray area exists. No flexibility. Despite having committed a crime, Luna acts like the misunderstood genius. The sad thing about Luna's storyline is that she has experienced darkness before. She played games with Zend last year, which made him think he had cheated on her. After that, the show attempted to change her character, but instead of making her more likable, it emphasized her manipulative side. Luna is now more than simply untidy, she is terrifying. The truth is that Luna has gone beyond a point from which most soap opera characters never return, even though the authors may try to defend her actions by citing reasons like dissociative identity disorder or flashbacks to traumatic experiences. Not only do viewers wonder if she will be redeemed, they also wonder if the character should be kept around at all. Then there is the ridiculous background of her life, which includes Remy's little apartment, Lee's dubious living situation, and the unbelievable logistics that leave fans incredulous. How does an affluent physician manage to live in a small one-room apartment? How can the ostensibly deceased Luna move around so effortlessly? Why does Will find her so fast using only computer voodoo that Liam gave him? The melodrama is as high as the narrative flaws, but in typical soap opera form, the confusion adds to the appeal. None of that, however, detracts from the fundamental horror. After deceiving Will, Luna boldly broached the subject of pregnancy testing, as if getting pregnant in those circumstances would somehow make her worries go away. It's irrational. It's risky. And if only to watch the character finally get the punishment she deserves. This type of soap opera villainy is what keeps viewers hooked. Here we have two parallel lines of delusion. Luna, the delusional girl who thinks her actions may be justified as miscommunications, and Ridge, the marrying man who thinks every fresh pledge will be the one that sticks. Together, they embody the yin and yang of the bold and the beautiful, the grim realism of predatory manipulation and the romantic nonsense of perpetual love triangles. Taylor is still broken, Eric is still arrogant, Thomas is still erratic, Brooke is still victorious, Ridge is still Ridge, and Luna is still enmeshed in her own deception. Chaos reigns. It's frustrating. And that's precisely what keeps soap opera viewers interested each day, anticipating the next big catastrophe that will occur in between commercial breaks.